Welcome to the Cuckmere Accessible Audio Trail at Seven Sisters Country Park. This trail follows the Cuckmere Miles Without Stiles route along flat concrete, gravel and grass paths. This is the third bench in this audio trail. If you missed bench 2, head back down the path towards the Cuckmere Miles Without Stiles trail and then turn right. Follow the path approximately 200 metres to the bench at Cormorant Corner. As you sit on the bench, you are facing south. In front of you, on the other side of the path, is a floodplain, and in the winter, on days when the water has receded, waders will sift through the mud for insects, larvae and worms. Amongst them, you may notice water pipits, who overwinter here. This little brown bird has a pale stripe above its eye, streaks of brown through its pale breast feathers, and its slender beak has a yellow base, perfect for digging out delicacies. Approximately 100 metres further on, the chalk grassland rises up in front of you, spreading out towards the iconic white cliffs of the Seven Sisters. Take a moment to breathe in the fresh air, tune in to the sounds that surround you, and consider the wonders we may find within this landscape. From this bench, we are taking a journey into the night to discover the nocturnal visitors to the park and the stars held in our breathtaking dark skies. As you sit on the bench, the sun sets in the west to your right. Behind you, along the ridge of chalk downland, you will notice the dark silhouettes of hawthorn bent against decades of easterly winds. On a clear night in winter, in front of you, moonlight ripples on the floodwater and the crickets chirp and sing from the long grass. Stout little voles, long-nosed shrews and mice dance in and out of the undergrowth, evading predators. The pad of paws on the path at this time is likely to be a fox rather than a dog, and the snuffle and huff of a badger rooting out worms is more likely than the cackle of egrets. You may notice the tawny owls calling to each other, the kiwick of the female and the tuwoo of the male. A flash of white, ghost-like above the grassland, may be a barn owl, and if you are here in the summer, newly fledged young that have been raised here at the park may join them. A rare visitor to this rich habitat is the short-eared owl, passing through on their migration, lured here by the long grass and voles hiding within it. They have travelled thousands of miles to Britain to escape the freezing cold winters of Russia and Scandinavia. During April to November, flying a little closer to the ground, are pipistrelle bats. No bigger than 5 centimetres long, they dart across a floodplain, catching moths and insects. Turn your face upwards to the night sky, and from where you sit, if it is a clear night, when there's not too much light from the moon, you may be able to make out magical constellations of stars above the park. In the spring, the constellation of Leo is most prominent. To the south shines the bright star of Regulus, showing the middle of the constellation, with the lion's head to the left and the tail to the right. In the summer, you may notice the central hump of the Milky Way, low and almost central in the sky. This appears as a hazy band of light in the navy blue, tinged with purple, orange and light blue hues. In the autumn, you'll find a group of stars called Cygnus, a swan, mirroring the swans on the meanders. The stars in this constellation form a cross with the bright star of Deneb at the head, forging its way across the sky. Finally, in winter, you may notice to your left the 3 bright stars of Orion's belt, the mighty hunter of Greek myth and legend. Just below the belt, to the east, is the bright star of Sirius, Orion's faithful hunting dog. Travelling back from the stars, pay attention to the sea air once more and the sound of the seagulls drifting along the coastline. As you continue along the trail, you may notice the smell of salt from the sea, spot the bright white egrets fishing in the saltwater lagoon, and notice the kestrel alighting on the hawthorn bush, turning its sandy-coloured belly to the sun. To listen to bench 4, make your way back to the main trail, continue through the gate to the left, along the gravel path towards the sea. Follow this path until it forks off to the left. Take the left fork and follow the chalk path until you reach the bench below the hill that leads up to the South Downs Way National Trail. Scan the QR or NFC codes to explore the chalk grasslands, a habitat sometimes called Europe's rainforest in miniature.